City Hall, and we're here for the.
Are you ready?
We're here for the Trump rally here this Saturday, about 3 p.m., October 24th, 2020. We're going to get some great interviews with some Patriots, and also get a chance to listen to some fantastic presentations. So stay tuned. We're here with Connie, and she's a pro-life Trump supporter, and she's going to tell us a little bit about herself and her voyage out to D.C. that she took to one of the meetings called The Return. So if you would, please, just take it away.
Yep. So I live in St. Louis, but I did voyage out to Washington, D.C. for The Return and also for Prayer March 2020. Those were two events held at the same time in the same place in Washington, D.C., and it wasn't planned that way except for by God. And it was very, very prayerful, repentant. The whole focus was repentance and prayer, and also salvation, that Jesus forgives and heals, and that, because they didn't take it for granted that everybody that was there was a Christian or had given their life to Christ. So it was amazing in prayer. The opening night was a solemn assembly, and about 3,000 people were there that night. And then the following day, many more than that. I would estimate that at both events there were probably 50,000 people altogether, probably more. The Prayer March 2020 actually gave us little cards, and on those cards were 5 different prayer locations to walk to, which you were to walk to and pray, and it was amazing to do that. And the return actually went from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. on that same day. And people really should go online and find those and replay them and watch the whole thing of both of them. PrayerMarch2020.com and TheReturn.org. It was amazing, and everybody there was pro-life. When they mentioned the scourge of abortion on this nation, people were agreeing, and they were praying for repentance and forgiveness, and it was just amazing. People everywhere. Just like what you see here today as well is a great turnout of people, because Trump is the most pro-life president ever. We need him and he kept his promises, and he also kept promises. He kept promises. Trump kept promises that he didn't even tell us that he made.
Thank you, Jesus.
We did not know that he would be so pro-life, and God is awesome. God has given us a break and a relief. He's granting us a mercy period right now for us not to take for granted. I pray that Trump gets back in for 4 more years. And after that, we still need to pray that the hand of God will stay on our nation, and that when Trump is done with his second term, that those who follow him will be just as pro-life, that God may have mercy on this country that we don't deserve, but we know he's a merciful and gracious God. And may each of you find out what God wants you to do. Don't be silent. Turn your life over to him. There is nothing that God can't conquer. And any failing or mistake you've had, Jesus forgives and heals. Let him. God bless you.
Thank you, Connie. And what's your number one reason for your support for our president?
I've got more than one reason to support Trump, but I think the biggest reason is he turned out to be so pro-life and fearless. And fearless.
Thank you, Jesus.
Connie, thank you so much.
God bless you. Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Well, it's kind of loud, but I will just share what the Lord has been telling me lately. It's from, it's in Zechariah, where he says, "It's not by might, not by power, but by my Spirit, says the Lord." And that also ties in where Paul says that we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers. So there's a spiritual battle going on here. You guys might be watching, you might just be like, oh, this is political or whatever. It is political, but it is spiritual going on behind the scenes, and we need to realize the bigger issue. Not whether we like a certain candidate or not, but what is the spiritual battle going on behind the scenes.
Hello. Okay, that's much better. Everyone can hear me. That's great. Let's go ahead and get started. Hi, my name is Katie. Welcome to the We the People rally. We are so glad that you are here with us today. Yes. So if you don't mind, I'm just going to open us with a prayer. If you don't want to pray, you don't have to, but I'm going to, so I do hope that you would join me. So Father God, thank you for the opportunity to speak today. Thank you for the freedom to do it in America. God, we love you. We love who you are. Thank you for each person here. And I ask blessings over everyone that is here today and over this event. And I pray that in your name, Jesus. Thank you. Amen. So we have some wonderful, wonderful speakers lined up for you today. Stacy Washington is feeling ill, so definitely remember her in your prayers tonight so that she will feel better. But first, we are going to start with Randy Larson. He is a local business owner, attorney, philosopher, got a theology degree, maybe 5, I don't know. He's got a lot of wonderful things to say, and he is going to open us up. So join me in welcoming Randy Larson.
All right, how's everybody doing? You know what I don't see out here are just super angry racists. I see people who love their country, who want the best for their children, who want the best for their grandchildren. And I'll tell you something about me. I have 5 kids. No, they're not here. We couldn't find shoes on the way out, so we just left. I do have a business. It's around the corner. It's called fill in the blank because I'm afraid to say it. We live 3 miles away. We love America, and we love history, and we believe that we don't have what we have now without looking at and through the lens of history. And so we're going to hear some speakers today, but what I want to do is just briefly share with you what I have been coming across and I've written about recently regarding liberty versus safety. And when we went to Disney World last week with my 5 kids, which was awful, by the way, a waste of 10 grand, because of the humidity and the mask right up on your face, all the way over your nose, the entire time, we were standing in line killing time, and I played Would You Rather with my kids. And one of the Would You Rather questions was, would you rather have safety or freedom? And our kids immediately said, safety. And I said, you're staying home from the rally. But we have a distinction, we have a choice to make between freedom and safety. Our founding fathers in the Declaration of Independence gave us self-evident truths given by our Creator, that we have a right, an unalienable right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It's not about standing here and pointing fingers like the people across the street are doing right now. We love them, and that's fine. It is not about fighting with people. I'm not even a politician. I'm not asking for your vote. And a little secret about us, we've been homeschooling since 2016. The lockdowns mean nothing to us. My business is booming. I sit by my pool. That's what I do all day. Okay? This is not about a selfish thing. I don't care about wearing the mask. It is about liberty. It is about being a patriot. It is about what our founding fathers fought for. So let me just say a few things. The Constitution, according to Lincoln, said that the Declaration of Independence was the golden apple, and the Constitution was the frame around the golden apple. The Constitution was set up to preserve and adorn the golden apple that is the Declaration of Independence. The foundational self-evident truth is this, that throughout history, through 6,000 years, we have had kings, we have had tyrants, and for the first time, according to FDR in a speech commemorating the Statue of Liberty, after 50 years of the Statue of Liberty in 1936, he said this, when they went out looking for the tyrant's purposes, looking for gold, what did they find? A second chance for humanity and mankind. And yet when I look around, my church that holds 175 chairs only can have 32 because of one person. That's not okay. It is a dictatorship. That is not okay. It is not what our founding fathers said. And like FDR said, he said, that, like we say of the Californians, of Americans we can say, of the 49ers, they used to say, the cowards never started, and the weak died along the way. We have a country that was founded on bravery and courage. And we said that after 6,000 years of tyranny, after 6,000 years, we broke apart the power that was for the king, and we said this: we are going to obliterate it, and we're going to spread it out horizontally among 3 branches that have competition amongst each other and checks and balances, and we're going to spread it out vertically between the federal and the state and the local. And we do not have a situation where one person gets to call all the shots. So no, I don't get paid. No, I don't have any of, I'm not asking for your vote. I'm not even a politician. But I will say this: I'm here today instead of cleaning my garage because it's time to do our civic duty, and we are at a crossroads, and it is time to say enough is enough. We will be going back to our churches. We will open up our businesses, and we will be having Sam Page take its back seat while Paul Berry takes this thing to the next level. So I'm going to leave you with this. I had experienced fear too. I know what it's like to be afraid in life. And in 2016, I had experienced a lot of fear, and I even had a mental breakdown to a point of almost seeing a psychiatrist, okay? I'm not perfect, and I have issues, and I have fears, and I have all the rest of it. But I was given a vision during my prayer time of a circus lion, a lion in a circus standing on a pedestal, and a lion tamer would crack its whip at that lion. And the lion tamer would put its paw off the pedestal, and then they would go, oh no! You know, the lion tamer cracking its whip every time the lion, the circus lion, would disobey the lion tamer. You understand what I'm saying? There are lions in this country. Some are in the circus, and they want the health care, the security. They want all of the safety, but they don't understand that it comes at a cost. I have left the circus. America left the circus when they started this country. The Puritans lost half their people coming from Holland. The colonies fighting against the greatest military force on the face of the planet. This is a risky deal to your body. It is not that we throw caution to the wind, but it is to say we choose liberty over health and safety. So I invite you to join us lions in the wild. And I know you guys are the ones that are in the wild. And by the way, we have to make the kills for the lions in the circus that want to eat. You understand? This is America. Let's take it back. I'm going to invite Sandra Mcdowell up right now as our next speaker, and then we're going to have a few other speakers, politicians, asking for votes.
How many people here love freedom? Let me hear you. Me too. This girl likes freedom. And how many people here are very upset with what's happened this year? I know I am. I am very upset, and you should be, because right in front of our faces, our rights have been taken away from us. Our rights that our military have died protecting. I'm an Air Force veteran. How many veterans do we have here today? Let's give them a hand. Thank you for protecting our freedoms. How many first responders, police officers, firefighters do we have here? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much for everything you all do. And I want to just, if we have just a minute to turn around to the flag and let's do the Pledge of Allegiance. Would you like that? Okay. Ready? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and freedom for all. That should mean something to everyone, and I love what Randy was saying about that. I'm not going to rehash all of the history, the great history he provided you, but we were founded on freedom. And again, this year we've seen so many things happen that they're taking that freedom away from us. And we're not okay with it. That's why we're here. That's why people all across the state of Missouri are standing up and stepping up to use their voices to defend our freedom, because we have to, right? We have to do it. We have to make sure that the government is not going to control us, because that is what they want to do. That's what they want to do with the mask mandates, with contact tracing, all of these stupid requirements that do not do anything. I mean, even CNN the other day has now said, with their statistics, that wearing a mask is no different than not wearing a mask, statistically. 85% of the people who came down with COVID that wore a mask still got COVID. Almost the same percentage for the people that did not wear masks. What does that tell you? It is a facade. It's not about masks. It is about control. Thank you. Control. That's what they want to do. And we are putting our foot down and saying no more. And that's what we have to do this year. Vote biblically. I know there's some God-fearing people in this crowd. Pray about who you're voting for. Pray about, I know, you know, Trump is my guy. Trump is my guy, you know, but there's so many other people on the ballot. You've got to figure out who you're voting for, and you may not know all of them. You may not know the judges. You may not know what to do on the amendments. You know who does know what to do on those ballot measures and on those candidates? The Lord knows, and He can tell you what's best. Okay? You've got a very, very, very critical thing on the ballot. Amendment 3. Amendment 3 is a big deal. That is what we voted on in 2018, and we got clean Missouri. But what I'm telling you back then, I ran for auditor in 2018, and I campaigned all around the state on this. The GOP establishment didn't want to campaign against it. They didn't want to put any money towards it. So there were me and a couple other people that were trying to defeat this measure, but we weren't able to get enough information out there to the people. You see lobbyist gift restrictions. Yeah, I want lobbyist gift restrictions. There's a lot of bad lobbyists out there. So you see that and you want to vote for that. But the whole thing about Amendment 3 now, and back in 2018 when we voted for Clean Missouri, it's about redistricting. Redistricting our state for the way that those corrupt politicians and the corrupt donors, the high-level money people, want it to be district so they can get their people in office. Well, we want our people in office, don't we? We want to make sure the districts are fair, and that is not going to be fair. Amendment 3 is not fair. Clean Missouri was not fair. Amendment 3 puts it back to the way it was before. I'm voting yes on Amendment 3. So just like, you don't have to vote the way I do, but pray about it. Pray about who you're voting for, okay? Because it is so crucial this year. Our freedom is at stake. There is so much at stake. There's a lot of corruption here in Missouri, just like there is all across this nation. President Trump said in his Tulsa campaign address that he said, I knew that the swamp was deep, but I never knew how deep and how wide it actually was until I got into office. And it is deep and wide, and he's working on it, and I think we're going to see some amazing things happen this next 4 years, but Missouri has that swamp here too, and it's deep and wide. And we've got to get people like Sam Page out of office. We've got to elect Paul Berry, who's going to give the people back what they want and what we need here in St. Louis. So I'm good, and here he is. So I'll just go ahead and have him come up. Paul Berry, everybody.
Freedom is what freedom is, right? I want to prove something to our naysayers. Will you guys participate with me in 1 second? Because I want to show them what this is about, okay? For 1 second, just for 1 second, I want everybody to lower their Trump flags. What flag is left? You. Can you come up here, ma'am? Yes, you. Does everybody see this flag? Yes. This country was founded on independence. But unfortunately, because of the human nature, we've had a history of back and forth, right? But you know the good thing about this flag? Let me talk, please. Let me talk, okay? Yep. You know the great thing about this flag? It's living, it's breathing, and it's going to get better. The one thing I can tell you is if I was a racist, you know what I'd want people to do? Disrespect this. Because I would want people to disrespect this so I can point to them and say, look, they don't love their country. You see this? I wrap myself in it. So let's talk about St. Louis County. Let's talk about Sam Page. There is a thing in this country called freedom. Freedom has been taken away from us and had our businesses shut down when they didn't need to. When our kids can't go to school and there's disparities between the rich doctor who wants to violate the county charter. So is it all right for him to break the law? Oh, he gets a pass because he's a Democrat? He gets a pass because he's not a steel worker or a doctor or, excuse me, a teacher or a cop? He gets a pass? He should be removed from office. And I considered, for 1 second, okay, I considered suing him. But you know what I think? The judge and the jury should be the good people in St. Louis County. I'm not going to take him to no court. I'm not going to sue him. We are going to let the people of St. Louis County run them out. I have a story, guys. I have a story I want to tell you guys real quick. You got time for a story? I want to tell you guys about a patriot, much like yourselves. And this patriot was at his house one day thinking of all the good things he could do for all the other patriots in St. Louis County. And a couple lobbyists from Jefferson City called him one day for lunch and asked him to run for county executive. Now this small business, North County Hoosier, that doesn't have any connections, was asked to run for county executive. It's pretty enticing, the idea of being able to help your fellow brother and sister. And I got with them and they advised me and they put their hands on my shoulder and they said, Paul, you can do it. But you know what I found out down the line? The same lobbyists that were wanting me to run for county executive are the same Mark Montavani bootlickers. See, they had a plan. Get Paul Berry in there. We can discredit Paul. Paul's out. Mark Montavani's next county executive. That's what they thought. See, they had a trick here. But guess what? I got a trick too. Trick is, we are a little bit more than a week out, and it's a dead heat. These fake lobbyists were telling us the other day, Paul Berry is 27% down. Well, guess what? I got my own polling, and we're on the margin of error now. Do you want me as county executive? I need each and every person that's here today to make me a commitment before God that unless you have to work, you are hurt, or damn it, the whole world blows up, that you are standing in front of the St. Louis County building at 10:30 in the morning. I need a commitment from each and every one of you to knock on 100 doors for me. If you do that, I will bring home the victory. You got to make a decision, ladies and gentlemen. Got to make a decision. What do you believe in? And what are you willing to take as far as a society going forward? Do you want a country that defunds the police? No. Do you want a country that defunds the Pentagon? No. Do you want a country where you don't have the right to practice your religious beliefs as you see fit? No. Do you want a country that's going to take your gun rights away? No. Do you want a country that kills babies because they say you can't afford them? No. Do you want a country where the swamp runs St. Louis County? No. Do you want a country that you will leave to your kids and grandkids better than you left it? It is time to affix bayonets. It is time to gang up. And it's time to fight back against the mob. This flag, our relatives fought for this country. African Americans, when they didn't even have the same civil rights at home, went across to fight tyranny. And nobody forced them into it because it's their country too. How do we get to a post-racial society? It's not by government picking winners or losers. It's about us taking control of our own destiny. I'm going to be very honest with you. It's not about your president. It's not about your governor. It's not about your county executive. It's not about your local mayor. It's upon you as the citizens of this republic to decide the direction of our country. All we are is your vessels. All we are is your representatives. When I go out and I treat somebody with decency, it means nothing unless we all treat people with decency. We are not going to roll in the mud. We are going to rise like a falcon, and we're going to do what we got to do. Thank you, and God bless.
Aren't you guys so glad you came out today? I know I am. We still have a couple of amazing speakers to hear from. The next up is going to be Miss Dottie Bailey, somewhere. There she is, running for your state representative in District 110. Here we go, Dottie.
Hi, thank you. Thanks for having me today. Thanks, Paul. It's funny, Paul and I have been in the trenches for years, back when we were just regular people, and now we're here running for office. And so, yeah, everybody, please get out and knock as many doors as you can. Guess what? Our opponents are scared to knock doors. But we aren't. I knocked, I don't know, 150 doors this morning, and it just makes a difference. We're not scared of much, really, and we have to get back to that. I think a big theme here we've been talking about is fear, and people are so fearful. And so, of course, I had like thoughts I was going to go and say these things, but of course I'll change gears, and I want to tell the story about not being fearful, because we're rugged Americans. Our founders were fearless. And so I have a very special friend, and he has served 17 years in the War on Terror, 17 years of combat experience. That's more than World War II and Vietnam put together. And we talk a lot about things, and he tells me these stories, and he told me the story the other day about when he was in Afghanistan, and he and 6 other guys were on a helicopter. They're flying over one of the mountains, and they crashed at some kind of mechanical failure, and they crashed. So it crashed on top of this mountain. Everybody was hurt except him. He kind of had a broken something, he thought, but he's like, okay, I'm the only fighter here that can fight. And they know over there, when you crash a helicopter, the smoke's coming up, guess who's coming after you? The Taliban. So he's like, all right, if I'm gonna live and save my friends that are half alive, I gotta go down the mountain and get these guys before they come out the mountain and get us. So he did. He climbed down, bing, bing, bing. He got in a firefight with the Taliban. The Taliban, the bullet hit his gun. The bullet bounced off and hit him in the chest, but went into his rib, and he's like, all right, I'm fine. So he had to cycle his gun manually instead of just, and he, I don't know, he's very humble. And I said, how many were there? And he's like, I don't know, 15, 20, something like that. And I said, was you against them? And he's like, yeah. And they really don't miss. They really don't miss. These special operators don't miss. And so he got all them, and he climbed his way back up. He's bleeding, but he was stable. He climbed his way back up, and he got up back to the mountain, and he covered his chest. And again, he won't tell this story, but I had to get it out of him. I'm like, well, what'd you do with the blood? He goes, I didn't want the other guys to see me, bleeding, because then they would make me be the first one off the mountain. So he's like, yeah, I'm fine. And so the rescue helicopter came, and there wasn't enough room. So he and another guy stayed, got everybody else out, and an hour later, the next helicopter came to get him. He got a gold star. It's an amazing story. And of course, my question was, weren't you scared? And he said, no, why the hell should I be an American? And that's what he said. He looked evil in the eye. His friends are dying, and he took the thing that Americans do when we're under duress. We don't get scared. We're not going to stop. And that kind of rugged intensity that America was founded on is the same intensity that's beat communism, that's beat terrorism, and is going to beat this coming Marxism, because we're not going to take it, and that's what it is. And he also said this to me. He said, I never once in those 17 years fighting in Iraq, Afghanistan, all over the world, I was never thought once that any of these losers will come to America to hurt us, because we're the most economically powerful Judeo-Christian country on earth, and we're a blessing. And he said, what's going to hurt us is from within. So we have to stop that. And I know you're here, and one good thing about this pandemic, coronavirus, is the awakening that everybody's having. Sam Page went after our kids. Boy, that was the hair that broke the camel's back. Amen. So I've seen so many people go, what in the hell is going on with that guy? And I said, this has also brought the people that want to be the tyrants, it's brought them to the forefront. And we see that. So we need to vote for this guy right here. Get out, knock doors, do what you can do. Thank you so much.
And one more, Dave Lenihan for Missouri City.
Hey, thanks a lot, everybody, for coming out. It's great to see such a crowd in Kirkwood. Right? Everyone coming out and supporting freedom. I'll tell you what, closing the sports down is going to be the kiss of death for Sam Page. And luckily, we got somebody like Paul here running to support us and going to have a voice for us in the St. Louis Council. That's exactly what we need. That's going to give us back our rights and be able to get out there and do what we need. Because here's what's going to happen. As soon as we start opening up the state, our jobs are coming back, our kids are going to be back in school, and we'll be able to start going to the hospital to get the services we require instead of having to close them down because of just the COVID. That's what I'm running for too. How do we create more jobs? How do we improve education, invest in technology, and how do we ensure that our health system has the sources necessary so when the next thing happens, we're better prepared. People that can do that are Dottie and Paul and me. And that's why I'm running. So thank you, everybody. And I'll tell you what, I've been knocking this district, this area here, I think we've done it about 3 times. This is great to see this size of crowd in Kirkwood. Shows that there is support, and we are going to win it. Thank you very much.
What a treat. All right, to close it up, guys, we've got Tim Jones for you today. I think his name is super recognizable because he was former Speaker of the House and current 97.1 FM talk show host. And so without further ado, Tim, come on up.
Hey, hello, Missouri. It's great to be the people's speaker now. That's what I am now, yeah. Hey, my friends, I come before you now at a time of choosing. It's a big time of choosing. And in 10 days, we are going to choose to have Donald Trump remain our president as we continue to make Missouri and America great again. And you know, how great is it here in the middle of the People's Republic of Kirkwood to have so many people honking in celebration as they come by, celebrating the opportunity to stand. I feel like Abraham Lincoln, almost as tall as him for once. To come before you, as so many of our forefathers and foremothers have, in the city square, in the county square, like they've done in this country for 235 plus years, and to be able to express our constitutional rights and celebrate our freedoms, for sure. I truly hope that our friends across the street, all 4 of them, I truly hope that they are just this angry and just this hate-filled and just this loony on November 4th, because that will mean one thing. Donald Trump won again. The wailing will be oh so sweet. You know, 4 years ago, I stood before you at many events like this, wearing this same t-shirt. Isn't this cool? I remember one event in particular. It was about this time 4 years ago. It was down in South County at Gravois Bluffs, and myself and Admiral Chuck Williams, who now serves in the administration, by the way, as one of the undersecretaries in our U.S. Navy, a Missouri boy done good. And Admiral Chuck and I stood on an armored personnel vehicle, a little tank. That was pretty cool. And at that point in time, exactly 4 years ago, everybody in the mainstream, lamestream, left stream national media all of the national pundits, all of the national pollsters, except for 2 in the entire nation, had already coronated Queen Clinton. And they said it was a done deal. And they said you didn't need to vote, and you didn't need to bother. And they were measuring the drapes in the Oval Office. But you and your friends and your family and your colleagues all across this great nation delivered the most amazing electoral landslide in the history of this country, defying all of the pundits and the pollsters, and you put Donald Trump in the White House for we the people. You know, Donald Trump has not just been a Republican president. He's definitely not a Democratic president. He has been an American president for all of the American people. And so I have to say to you at this point in time, as I come before you, as I did nearly 4 years ago, when they're saying the exact same things, when the same pollsters and the same pundits and the same ivory tower elitist eggheads in Washington, D.C., from Chris Wallace on down, are telling you the same exact thing. The tide is against him. The polls are against him. The sentiment is against him. Donald Trump has taken on that establishment and shown time after time he will win again for America. So I come back to you at literally, I believe. I truly believe it. I can feel it again. Can't you feel the same exact momentum? When you look at the same exact metrics, you feel the same exact passion. The enthusiasm, the boat parades, the vehicle parades. It's freezing cold out here, and we're standing here on this city square doing the same thing. We come back before each other, I truly believe, at the turn of the tide. And it is a time of choosing. And you all are the choir, except for 4 of you across the street. And I know I'm preaching to the choir in some semblance. So what you all need to do is you need to get every single one of your family members and your friends and your colleagues and your coworkers, and you need to drag them kicking and screaming over broken glass and through the flames of hell and get to that voting booth on November 3rd and vote for Donald Trump, Governor Mike Parson, Paul Berry, and every single Republican on the ballot this year, because we are the only party for America. What is that time of choosing? What is that time of choosing? Several of the other speakers mentioned it. Randy so eloquently talked about it. I respect Randy as an attorney. I'm a recovering attorney and politician, so there's hope for everyone. I now have a big Midwest microphone, and I use it every single day for freedom and liberty. And it's a simple choice, is it not? And Donald Trump has exposed over the last 4 years how simple that choice has become. He has shown us that for decades and decades, for generations, the folks in Washington, D.C., the lobbyists on K Street, whether they claim to be Republican or Democrat, they have not been working for you. And that's why people, not just on the left, but even allegedly on our side of the aisle, did not want him in the Oval Office for 4 years, and they've been trying to kick him out ever since he stepped through the door. What he has shown is that the people, you, were all out of power in this country. You were removed from power. It was not your choice. The party of choice is only for one choice. It's abortion on demand. We are the party of choice for all people, for all things, for all times. For economic choice and for religious choice, for religious freedom, which is why people came to this country in the first place. So at this point in time, the time for choosing is between safety, security, law and order versus defunding the police. It's a choice of America and the military first versus defunding the Pentagon. It's a choice of literally of sanity and holding our nation together versus completely tearing it apart. It's a choice for the first time in my entire lifetime, and in many years as well, of peace in the Middle East. We never thought we'd see that. It's a choice for economic freedom and liberty versus slavery to an almighty absolute government. And we've seen what happens right here in the county of St. Louis when a tyrant is given absolute power. It corrupts him absolutely. So you have a chance now to turn that page once and for all. You have a chance to make sure that Governor Parson, and not the lady who's going to hire the person who's going to draw the state legislative districts, is in charge of that state, in Governor Mike Parson. And you need to make sure that our voices are heard loudly across the heartland, that there's a boom that comes out of flyover country here in the Midwest, and we deliver a double-digit 20-point or more victory to Donald Trump on November 3rd. God bless St. Louis County, the state of Missouri, and the great United States of America. Thank you all for being here today.
You guys totally pumped about your freedom, because I know I am. Thank you so much for coming. It doesn't have to end here, actually. There is another event this evening that's hosted by Paul Berry. Do you see me on my tiptoes, you guys? These people are tall. Okay, so there's another event tonight hosted by Paul Berry at the Royal Orleans, and it is for Backing the Blue. I know we are definitely fans of our police department. Yes, give them a round of applause. They've been amazing. It's from 6 to 8 tonight if you'd like to go and back the blue, Royal Orleans. Everyone, thank you so much for coming. I think you all know what we need to do on November 3rd. Get out there, vote, have your voices heard. Thanks so much. Love you all.
And I'm with, tell me your name, hon?
Angela Ong.
Angela, okay. And Angela, what brings you here today?
Well, what brings us here today is to stand for freedom, to stand for giving the power back to the people. And what we're doing is we're trying to get together a coalition across our entire state here, well, across the entire nation. There's groups that support these causes and want the power back in the hands of the people. So today we're here standing for Missouri Stands Up. Many of you
Missouri Stands Up. And let's get that a little bit closer to the camera so people can see it. So they can go to that website to access the information?
Please, we'll get you on our newsletter, keep you up to date. Some of you may have already heard of Ohio Stands Up. That's a lawsuit going on right now. It's in the federal court, and it is to challenge the state of emergency. If we bring down the state of emergency, that sets the precedent. No matter which state brings down that state of emergency, that brings it down for the entire nation and puts the power back in the hands of the people.
Okay.
Please spread the news.
Are people able to go to this website to sign the petition? Or they can get more information about how to access it?
They can get more information, and you can basically give us your information. We will get together the petition, and we will get the information out to you, keep you updated on stages, where we are in the lawsuit, and go from there. Right now, we're just building the coalition.
Cool. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you for getting the word out.
Thank you.
All right, very good. What brought you out here today?
I'm Taylor, and I work here in Kirkwood. Back in 2015, I was a Bernie bro, and I switched in time for 2016 because everyone's talking about how Trump is hateful, but it's like, we just cheered for a black man. We're gonna vote him in, and I mean, I'm here and no one hates me, and I'm LGBT, so. Yeah. But if I have a lot of friends who don't know that I flipped, and I'm actually very afraid of them knowing, because I don't think they will be as tolerant of that.
Well, don't fear, because there's a reason. Listen, there's a reason why even you're here today. So God has your back, and you're doing what's right, you know, by standing for your convictions. So don't worry.
I just can't be quiet and hiding anymore, because things are just escalating.
Yeah, that's how I was for a time too. I was like, okay, I'll just kind of stay on the back burner. But then after a while, I was like, I got to jump in here, you know, social media. I got to share the truth. So
I'm a libertarian, but I align with a lot of this crowd, so way more than I do with the Biden crowd.
Oh, yeah. Now, were your parents, did they also share like some of your same political beliefs, or?
They're very split, and both sides of my family are very split. One is very conservative, one is very, very liberal, and I kind of think that I was kind of in between, but now I'm leaning kind of towards libertarian, and because the left has just taken off.
It has. It's come in a whole new direction. For what I've noticed is, it seems like the old Democratic Party, what it used to be, is not the same anymore. Instead, it's almost turned into socialism. And then the Republican Party, what it used to be is more or less, it's turned into, I suppose, almost like a patriotism type of movement. So,
which I kind of like. I mean, maybe if I was in politics many years ago, I would have called myself a liberal or a Democrat. But nowadays, it just the party that is aligning most, even though I don't think I've changed, would be the conservatives.
Yeah, absolutely. Tell us a little bit more about your sign, and if you would show it to the camera. So much, okay?
Thank you.
And thank you for standing for your truth and your convictions, and don't back down, and just continue to be very, calm and nice and peaceful about it. And
I will try.
I'm sure you're going to make a lot more friends, okay?
There are not just the straight white men in the Republicans. There's people like me too. We're flipping all the time.
Yeah.
Just, you gotta kind of hear people out instead of yelling the slogans. There is a lot more to the story than you're getting.
Yeah. So it just proves that there's a diverse background of people from all walks, all nationalities, all beliefs that are coming in to support our country and our president right now. So, Taylor, God bless you. Thank you so much, all right?
Thank you.
You take care.
Okay. Jen Barker.
Jen Barker. And then what brings you out here today to City Hall for this rally?
Freedom. We want to rally for freedom and just make sure that we're standing for our constitutional freedoms, and that we wanted to have speakers out because one of the most important speakers was Paul Berry.
Paul Berry, okay. Tell us a bit more about Paul and everything he's doing right now.
Yeah, so Paul's running for county executive for St. Louis County, and I didn't pay much attention to local politics until coronavirus, and then I realized how important it was that we need to be watching our council and our county executive.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So I called a meeting for our group, We the People, and at that meeting, I guess somebody gave Paul my name. And so I got a phone call from Paul that night, and he asked, can you help me with with my campaign?
Okay,
and
cool.
I said, well, I'm really busy. I don't know how much I can help, but I'll pray on it. And so I did, and then the Lord told me I really needed to work on this man's campaign and get him elected. And so I've dedicated myself. It's been every day, every night since.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
That's a big calling.
Yeah.
But it's important that we have the right people in charge and not tyrants like we have currently with Mr. Page.
Exactly.
So,
and unchecked. His powers are completely unchecked, and the council isn't really doing what the council's supposed to be doing. It's him running the show.
what do you think is one of the biggest problems with Sam Page and what he's been doing right now? Like, what's one of the biggest issues that really kind of you see is problematic?
I think the biggest issue is that he doesn't listen to the people, and he's not letting the council do its job. And that, and I really don't understand exactly how things had changed with the emergency order that the governor had declared, but it's just insane that the health department and the council has given him full reign.
That's true. That's true. Now, let's pray to God that Paul Berry III makes it in.
Yeah.
What challenges do you think he's going to face, and then how is he going to overcome the damage that Sam Page has already done?
I think he's going to have a lot of challenges. There's no doubt about that. And I think that, we had Steve Stanger and now Page, so there's a lot of things that are going to have to be cleaned up when he comes in. And I'm sorry, your second question was?
Let's see. So he's going to have these challenges going in. How is he going to go about? How is Paul Berry going to go about overcoming all these troubles that Sam Page has put before us?
Well, I think that Paul is he's like a cat. He lands on his feet every time, and so I just really feel like anything that comes to his desk, he's going to be able to figure it out and know that there's a system and the way that the system works, and that's why I like him so much, is that he wants government to run the way it was meant to run.
Absolutely.
And that's what's important to us.
Okay, well, I'm going to try to make it out tonight at the event.
Orleans, yeah.
Yeah, at the Orleans Banquet Center. But otherwise, thank you so much for being on camera today, and I appreciate it. God bless you.
God bless you.
Okay,
Thank you.